Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Welcome back to the wonderful class of today. So, previous class we have worked on our Sankabal, our health app. Okay. So, today we are going to work on Code ORG, that is class number 24. So, what are we learning in our Code ORG? Today is in our app lab, we will be working on geometric calculation. So, nowadays in all your maths and everything, you have your geometry. So what is geometry? So there are shapes where you have to calculate the values of the shape. Say equilateral triangles, circles, rectangle, trapezium. You have so many things to learn in that. So one such thing which we are learning over here in our geometric calculation is find the area of your square, perimeter, and for the triangle shape. So what is the use? You may be thinking, what is the use of doing such thing in our code watch thing? When you are able to do such kind of calculation, so in future you will be able to create an application where it calculates. It will be a major calculator. You have your scientific calculator, you have your basic calculator. So something like that, you can create an application which helps you to create any kind of calculators. So when there is some other advanced calculators which you release to your app lab, then it will be easy for others to use that, and even for you further if you want to. Okay? So one such of calculator is a geometric calculator. Come, let's see how we can create a geometric calculator in our code ORG. I hope my screen is visible. And this is the geometric calculator. So first thing, let me show how does this work. The design and everything is as temporary and how it looks. You can make it more beautiful like how is required for you. I'm clicking on run. So once I run, I get two options. In my app, I have designed in such a way that it finds the area of a triangle and a square. So anyone can give the height and breadth and the area of a square so that, sorry, the side of a square so it calculates area. So for more information, if someone comes, they don't know what is the formula of area of a triangle or a square. Everything is informative with the picture on the button. So I have two buttons. One is for the triangle and one is for the square. So as the picture says, this is the shape where which is the breadth side, the height side, and how do you calculate the area. And this is for the square. So let's go into the triangle calculator. So once I click, this is another screen which comes for calculating a triangle. So here again, there is a formula and information about it. There are two text box where they can enter one for the height and one for the base. Say for example, the height over this is around 25 and the base which is over here, I'm giving it as 25. Let's make an equilateral triangle. Okay. So in such case, that means how does the area gets calculated? See over here, one thing you can observe is every time we have a button. Once you give the input and click on a button, you're getting an answer. But in today's class, you would have been observed as soon as I have entered the values of height and base without any button, the area of triangle is being calculated for you. Okay. Let's go into a simple number if you feel yes, if it is wrong. So I'm giving the height as well as the base as 5. So here you can see 12.5. Why is it? Height, it's an half of your height and the breadth. 5 is a 25, 25 half is 12.5. So that means the area of the triangle which has the height of 5 and base as 5 will be 12.5. So it is so simple for others to see instead of going to the calculator. Calculators for area, even in scientific calculator, it's tough to find what is the area of a triangle. You have to put the formula, multiply symbol and everything. So if you can design such kind of geometric calculation which helps you for to find area of a triangle with just giving an input of an height and base, it will be so helpful for others. So this is the area of triangle. So what we'll do, if we have to go back, we'll run and reset and say Again for the square. For the square, again it is informative where sides of a square will be always equal. So area of the square is easy for us to find out. Just give one side of the square. So if I give it as 10, so as soon as I give up, you can see area of the square is calculated as 100 and the perimeter of the square is 40. Okay, this is the bonus for you, perimeter of the square. All right. So what is the perimeter of the square formula? 4 into side. So you get your perimeter. So wonderful, so easy to get the perimeter and the area of a square. Just a fraction of seconds when you have one. So let's see how are we doing this. First, mainly going to our design. The first design, as you are aware, I said three screens. One is the main screen which has the buttons which can navigate to the values where we get. And the second screen is for triangle and the third screen is for the square. So this is how you create. You are aware that how to create a screen. So you'll have to click on new screen, so which gives us a new screen for us. So something like that, I have created the first thing that is the main screen. This is nothing but a button. I have created a button, simple button over here. Okay, I'm just placing it. And on my button, how I do it, I'll just show it to you. New screen which I have. In this, what I'm doing, I'm just placing a button, two buttons. One is for triangle and one is for the square. So for our triangle, what I'm doing, I'm keeping my text empty in my properties. And I scroll down, I have an option called image. So I say choose. Remember to have the images whichever you want. Say, for example, I would like to put as uh, this. Let me put this image. I'll have to say choose. So once I choose, you can see here, it has been, the image has been placed. Okay. So this gives the image for you. Now I'm doing the same thing for the square. I want this. I have the pointer for the square, button for the square. Okay. This is how you can place it for the button. You may think how the text is going and how the images are coming, like how is with the main screen. How is this done? It's just simple as that. You'll have to create a button, and on the button, you will just click on choose, and you should be having images. So if you don't have images, you'll not be able to see here. Simple, just download whichever image you want and then upload the file so you'll be able to see the images over here. So I have chosen whichever file is required for me. So once done, this is how it looks for you. Okay. So this is your main screen. Now we'll go into our triangle screen. So what is there in a triangle screen? This is just a normal image. So what I do, I just paste the image and put the image of it. Now I'm having two text input. This text input wise I'm having. One is for the height and one is for the base. So for just to understand, because there are many in text inputs and labels, because in the coding you should not get confused. So what I'm doing, I'm just renaming the IDs. So you can use those ID in the coding. So I'm saying it is a text input and it's for the triangle height. And I write placeholder is a place where whatever the hint you see, maybe visible now, enter height of a triangle. You see this? This is called as a hint. So when you run, this will be hint. And when I say, I show it to you. I say run, I go to triangle. Now here you see enter the height of a triangle. As soon as I click on this and type something, you can see the background text which was there, that is hint, has been gone. So this is called as hint. So for that, how are we doing? For the text input, the placeholder, whatever you type it in, the placeholder will be the hint of the text input. The same thing for the second one, it will be the in text input 3, which is triangle base. Then I have a label. Label, remember it's a triangle area calculating. So ID will be this. Next, what I'm giving is area of triangle equals question mark, question mark. Later on, what we'll do is, in place of this question mark, we'll be placing the value up. The new thing you can observe here is every time what we do is we split the label. One label is to say area of the triangle, another label will keep it just beside it to show the value of it. But here we are just combining both of the label and creating one label. So we'll be able to see how you can uh, attach a text as well as a value which is changing in a single label. This is a new thing which you are learning. It's every time we'll have a separate labels for the value, separate labels for the text. But over here, the text and the value is being combined into one label. Alright. So this is for the triangle. And coming back to the square. So what we have in a square, we have the image of the square and one text input is fine for us to enter the length of the square. And then we have two labels, that is area of one is to calculate the area of the square, the other one is to the perimeter of the square. So this completes your design. Hope it's easy to understand. Going back to the code, the second part. So let's go into the detail of this. So first thing is, since we have many screens, computer will not be aware like which screen has to come first. It's very important for us to make the arrangements which screen has to come when. So, so the main screen. So when I say run, the first screen has to come at as main screen. So I have to set the screen called main screen. So once I write it, I have on event. What is on event? So when I click on this button of triangle area, it has to navigate to my screen of screen one triangle. So that means on event button triangle, when it is clicked, I am navigating to the screen one. This is how you can navigate to other screens in code one. So very simple. When I click on this button, that is main screen triangles button. When I click on this button, I am navigating, and that is I'm setting the screen of this triangle. Okay. So now we'll see how are you getting the inputs and calculating the area. So as you are aware, functions. The functions is the smallest part of your code, which helps your code to lines of code to reduce. And wherever you want, you can call that function inside your same code. So here we are creating a function for area of a triangle. So what is the area of a triangle? So what is the area of a triangle? Half. Half is nothing but 0.5. I cannot write half here, 1 by 2. So I'll have to write 0.5 into the get text input from your height. So whatever the text you have gotten from the height, that multiplied by the text input of your base. So that's this. So what happens? That is all is your calculation. 0.5 into the number which you have got from the height into the base. So you may be thinking, how can I put this 3 into the place? Let me show it to you that. I'm just deleting this for your reference. So how 3 items can be placed is, first you have to go to your math where you have multiplication symbol. So take 1 and put it to written. I'll tell you what is the reason of written. So first you have 2, but I need 3 inputs. So what I have to do, I have to take one more multiplication symbol and I'll place here. So the first number is 0.5 and the next number is the input which you have to get it from the height. So how do you get? From your UI control, you have an option called get number or get text. You can use any one of them. Let's use in a precise of get number. So only number will be taken. If they write text, it will not be understood. So the ID is your text input uh, triangle height, and then I have to get the number from your text input triangle base. So this completes your coding. Okay, the calculation. So now, why do we need this written? Written is the value which you get here. The value which you get here is stored in function. But how is the value getting to the function is because of your written. So what I'm doing, I'm returning the value which is being calculated here to the triangle area. So whenever the triangle area is being called, I get the value of this. Okay. So now is the place where we display the details. Delete it. So I said I don't have any buttons. So previously, as I said, when I input the values of my height and base, automatically the value is calculated. That means on event, when the value of my base text input is being inputted, there is always a difference. Every time on event, we have a click function. Over here, you have many other functions, key down, key press, mouse move, and all. So here I'm selecting it as input. So that means whenever there is an input means giving some value. As soon as some value is given, it starts inside it. So what does it give? There are two things again over here. What is it? In my label, that is in this label, I'm setting the text. That is nothing but this is a place called concatenation. What is it? Concatenation. What is the meaning of concatenation? What is the meaning of concatenation is combining two things. So as I said, one thing is for the text, that is area of triangle. It is constant. It will not change. The only thing is triangle area, that is the value which you're getting from here. That is the value which is changing, right? So that value, two values you're joining up. So that we use your plus sign. That is to concatenate. So one is of the text area of a triangle, which is a text which will not change. This triangle area is a value which you are getting after calculation, which keeps on changing according to your height and the base. So that's the reason you need this plus sign. Plus sign is always not for adding two numbers. It can be done in your coding for adding two different things. It's not only for the numbers, even for the text or the values, you can do it. So once I do it, what happens? The area of triangle will be just like that. Instead of question mark, it will be the value which you give it over here. Okay. So this is how the calculation of the triangle is done. Now we'll go into a square. So now how are you coming in your main screen when you click on button to area, that is the square button, when you click, you are setting the screen of the square. So the same thing goes on. You have to calculate first the area of the square. So how are you calculating the area of the square? Side into side. That is, whatever the length they give over here, that into that you get it, that you return it to the square area. The same thing for perimeter. Whatever the value you get it for the length, that into 4. That is your perimeter. So you store both into the function. Now, as soon as the length of the square is written, so here what and all you're displaying? You're displaying the value of your. So what I'm doing, as soon as the length of the square is written, inputted, then I'm setting two texts. One is for the area, so area of the square plus whatever the value is being calculated in square area. Remember, this one is not an ordinary text. How do you write it over here? It should be a value which you get it from your function. So functions, you have to take this, and in place of my function, you will have to write the value. What is the function name you have given here? Specifically, precisely, you have to write whatever the name you have given, even if it is a small letters or a capital letter. The same thing you'll have to give. Otherwise, the value will not be calculated. It will give you an error that this function is not defined. There is no value as such. Right? So this gives you the value of square and perimeter of a square. So this completes the coding of it. Right? Very easy to tell up and practice it. So what are we learning from today's class? We have learned how to create a geometric calculator for a square as well as a triangle and a perimeter. Hope everyone has understood. Please do the project as it is like your square and triangle. And one more thing additional which I would like you to do it in the project is add a back button. So in our coding which I showed you, did not have a back button. Where is the back button? From my main screen, when I select a triangle, I go to my triangle screen and do the calculation. But again, when I want a square, I have to reset and run again, which is tough for me. So what we have to do is give a back button in your square and a triangle screen. So once you finish calculating, you can click on the back button so you can come back to the main screen, which helps you to calculate to the other one. Okay. So this is a new thing which you will have to add it on for the project. Please go through it. So you have learned many new things into this class where you have learned what is concatenation, and without a button you know how to calculate it, and then we are introducing with a formula, a written and a function. You have so many things with multiple screens. So new concept, please learn it, understand it in detail, and when you have doubt you can surely come back to me through the group. Hope everyone has understood. Okay, so this comes to an end of class number 20. See you in the next class. Bye. Thank you.